Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a Tuesday evening at 8:30 on this fine autumnal morning. We are now in September, so summer has ended. That can mean only one thing. The Colts are back. Thank God it is the international break in the Premier League. Arsenal got done over by a horrendous refereeing mistake, but that's all in the past because now the moment we've all been waiting for. The Colts are back. Can't we believe it? It's been a long time. So the Colts are back. That means we're back. You know how it works. If you've been here before, if not, on a Tuesday evening, we like to react to the game before. And new this year, we are going to be doing previews and reviews. Well, hey, so no longer need to get the Tuesday evening show with not Robbie today because I'm convinced Robbie is part of MI6 and is off somewhere doing some mad spy mission in Denmark. He pretends he's got a real job, but I think he's over there scouting something. And he's not here tonight. And Nathan is busy, so it's just me, but that's okay. We can get going. So as I was saying, Tuesday is going to be the review show of the game that's just happened at the weekend. Hopefully the win the Colts get, but even when we lose, we'll still be doing it. And then on a Thursday, potentially Friday, just depending on how dates line up, we're going to be doing a preview of the game coming up. So hopefully this weekend we have hopefully on Thursday we have a member from the UK Texans group coming on to discuss the week one game. I'm pretty sure the Colts are going to break the curse this time. We all know the Colts don't like week one, but that's how it goes. And we just this year going to try and bring more consistent, more fun, more interactive content to you guys. I know it's been a bit of a struggle getting content out recently. Real life does get in the way, and the off season's just pretty boring over here in the UK. For reasons being, I like to cover the draft and stuff, but it is a lot. It is a lot of work to do that stuff. So fair play to the people who do it, and hopefully one day we are a big enough outfit to constantly stream, constantly provide content over the off season. But for now, that's just not us. We want to try and keep it fresh and want to try and keep it real for you guys and sort of think along the lines of the more quality content rather than just every other day posting a 20-minute summer would be better for you guys. So that's the plan going into the new season for UK Colts fans. Excuse me. And I'm just going to have a little drink and I'll be right back after this. There we go, a drink, all better, and we are back. Yeah, so as I say, Robbie's off gallivanting around the world, so he's not joining me tonight. It's just going to be me by myself, and I'm just going to have a look ahead, get back into the podcasting routine. It's that time again, that time of year. Football's back, real football, not the farcical we call football in the Premier League, but the NFL is back, and that can mean only one thing. A new year, new hope. Hopefully Anthony Richardson stays fit. I've already seen a few injuries that have taken out, hopefully not for a long time, taken out a couple of key players for the start of the season. So looking ahead to Sunday's game, let me just get it up here. I did have all the stuff I wanted to say up, but I crossed it off for some reason. So Sunday's game, 8th of September, it is the usual 6 o'clock kickoff, of course it is. 6 o'clock kickoff over here. I'll say not 6 o'clock kickoff in America. It is at the Texans. I think are they. Oh my god, I can't even get the words out. This is great content. Yeah. So yeah, it is at the Texans. The ARG Stadium. So I just had to check because Google is. I'm not used to looking at Google on my desktop for a long time. Anyway, I'll get back to it. So yeah, the Texans obviously revived from their last season. They had a strong end to the season, you could say. The Colts. Yeah, we all remember that game. Gardner Minshew missing a wide open running back on that. What was it, 4th and 3 or something? I'm not going to rehash old wounds. So looking forward into this game. Just going to have a look. So the big, I suppose the big look into this game, or the key points, the talking points, is obviously there's a lot of talk between CJ Stroud, the Texans QB, and I need to stop slouching. That's horrendous. Right. Should have sorted all this out. CJ Stroud and the Colts linebacking core in EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin. I think it's all just part of the game, trash talking. I like it. I loved it when we had Phillip Rivers and he would open up and, it's just fun and games. And as long as it stays above the belt, say it's fun and games. So I don't mind the stuff CJ Stroud saying. Hopefully that gives Zaire Franklin the motivation to go and get the guy. Go and prove why you are the tackle monster of the NFL, which he is. And yeah, it's give a little bit of spice to week one, which I suppose you could say, through many reasons, we've not really had recently. Last year was a big unknown, obviously, with Anthony Richardson and Shane Steichen as their first years. And years before, I could name the reasons, square pegs, round holes, washed up veteran quarterbacks, key players injured, vanilla head coaching, bad GM, multiple reasons. So it's actually nice to look forward to game one of the season. Hopefully we can go 1-0. I think we will this year. I think at some point we've got to break the curse, right? At some point it has to happen. And yeah, so I'll start with the defense, seeing as I talked about the little bit of trash talk going on between Zaire and CJ Stroud. This is a chance for Laiatu Latu. I can't say his name, and I apologise for that. I should have practiced that and got it right. But Latu's big chance. It's a big stage for him. Hopefully, he can. It would be nice to see him get. Obviously, it'd be nice to see him get a couple of sacks, or But I would just like to see in preseason he looked rapid, and that's a good start. I get preseason. You're not playing against. You're not going to be playing 100% against the best people all the time. But potentially his first matchup is against Laramie Tunsil. And that's going to be a good learning curve for him this early on in his career and the season. I hope he can bring some pressure. I mean, I can see why I'm not, obviously, those who have watched this channel a long time know I'm not Gus Bradley's biggest fan. I think this is my sort of jury's going to be out here with Gus Bradley and his scheme and his defensive prowess, because now he's had the time, he's got the first round pick, and it's a decent pick. And I see why he's gone for Latu. The speed off the ball is incredible. Off the ball, off the snap, he's going to be able to hopefully shut that edge and close down some. I suppose it's a way of negating the scrambling QB. Quarterbacks have got a lot faster from when I first started watching American football, and the fast quarterbacks back then were the scramblers like Wilson and sorry, my mind's gone blank. But yeah, it wasn't as common, and teams tend to go for the field general pocket passer quarterbacks, your Mannings, your Lucks, and stuff like that. So the game has evolved to a point where people say running backs are not just running backs anymore. Running backs and wide receivers. I think it's also true of quarterbacks nowadays. You can't just sit in a clean pocket for 3 to 5 seconds and take the easy option. That is very dumbing down the quarterback's position. And I could only apologise to the likes of Manning with his, and Brady and stuff like that. You can't just do that anymore, though. And you have to be able to escape and adapt. We've seen, you could say Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson were the one who really changed all that. And now teams want Superman quarterbacks. They don't want field generals. They want guys who can do everything. And I think picking up Latu in the first round was a direct counter from the Colts and looking at the bigger picture of where the NFL's going and protecting that edge. We've obviously got Quitty as well, who's a bit more inside and a bit more bull rush. So we've invested a lot, I suppose you could say, over the last 5 years onto this Colts defensive line. Now it's Gus Bradley's time to use it and use it wisely. We know he likes to rush 4. So that's where Latu's going to come in. Because of his speed, he's going to counter only having 4 rushers. I want to see more blitzing. Although I think it'd be unwise to go in and blitz on the first play. Try and send a message. We don't need to do that. Just play our game. And don't let them draw us into their game. This is let us show how we set the pace and how we run it, and why it's for us, and why we're not going there to play for them. We're not going there to play CJ Stroud. We're going there to win. All that matters is to win. So I really hope because I suppose you could say it's been unstable, the Colts. People coming and going, things being said, locker rooms clearing, people being suspended. So I'll look at the front 4. I hope the senior guys, Grover and DeForest, can really step up this year and, just draw that attention away from our edge rushers, from Latu and Quitty, and just give the rookie, well, I know Quitty's not a rookie, but give the younger guys a bit more of a chance, give the Texans something to think about. We know Kenny's a good nickel blitzer. So, this could be a big game for the defense. And I really hope it is for Gus Bradley's sake. I think it would be safe to say about Bradley that there was a lot of questions about him. And does he stay? Does he go at the end of last year? Especially from myself. And I think that's a fair and honest assessment. I think it's also fair to say he was pretty thin on the players he had. A lot of his players were young guys, fringe guys, not first-round talent guys. But now, going into this year, he has Zaire Franklin, who was in the NFL top 100. He's got EJ Speed. As Colts fans, we all know what EJ Speed is. He's got the front 4 of DeForest and Grover and Latu and Quitty. And unfortunately, we all saw the injury that happened to Samson Ibukan, which is such a shame because he had such a strong season last season, and I was buzzing to see him back. And just, man, freak injuries happen. And yeah, that's just that. Just sort something out. So, excuse me, a bit of a cold. So yeah, that's the defense. Well, that's the front four of the defense. The secondary, and this is where I'm still not convinced with the secondary. I know who we got, and I know what they can do, and I'm just a bit. It doesn't look like the best, let's say. You know, just to name some. Let's throw some names at. Like we know for a fact Kenny Moore is going to play a big part this year, and we need him to keep hitting the levels that he does. That's what he does. So I'm just looking through the secondary, and I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say they've got a lot to prove, and that's a good thing. They should play with that chip on the shoulder. But yeah, CJ Stroud will be seeing that secondary, and he will be. Oh, I don't want to sound too disrespectful to our secondary, but he won't be afraid of it like you would be if there was a real superstar name there. And that sounds so layman's and so counterproductive to how the modern world sees football. It doesn't look at, brand and strong fastness and all that. It's all about stronger. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I've got lost in what I'm saying, but it doesn't look at the brand. It doesn't look at name. It, like I say, you could go back to when the Colts had Luck and Hilton, and even Peyton and Reggie. You saw their names and you instantly knew he was in trouble. I look at the Colts secondary and don't think, if I was an opposing quarterback, I wouldn't think I was in trouble. So if Gus Bradley is going to stick to his plan of giving up the easy yards underneath, CJ Stroud will pass for 400. He's a very talented quarterback and he can do that. So I want to see more disguised plays, disguised coverage, a lot more movement on the line. I do hope for a bit of a spark that's sort of been missing in defense, maybe since, I'll get this right, the monster year we had under Matt Eberflus, was it 2018-19 maybe? It was basically Shaq Leonard's biggest year before he had his injury. So that's what I'm looking for, just a spark on defense. I think Latu can bring that. I know Kenny's lightning in the bottle, like I say, and Zaire Franklin he's just an open field menace. He can tackle anyone. I'm just looking for who's going to be that guy, who's going to be that secondary guy that's going to grab the defense by the horns and say, nah, this is it. Who's going to be Bob Sanders, who you're not passing on us. I'm taking that ball. And that's got to be the standard now. And I think Shane Steichen's going to enforce that as the head coach. I can see Gus Bradley getting a bit lost, if I'm being completely honest. But that's me being negative. I'm doing two jobs. Like I say, Robbie isn't it? So I'm trying to do the negative and the positive. It's week one. We've got a very talented front four. I can see them getting to the quarterback a few times. On Sunday, I think CJ Stroud might get a bit complacent with time in the pocket. I think he's going into this game thinking he's got the upper hand, which is good for us Colts fans. And we all know that's our stadium. Their little brother. We've got to step back on top of the AFC South. It's about bloody damn time. So that's the defense. That's what we've got to look forward to and maybe worry about there. The offensive side of the ball, just I'm not a religious man by any means. I'm quite atheistic, but I'm praying to the gods of wherever that Anthony Richardson stays fit this year. We really need that boy to stay fit. We saw in flashes what he could do last year, and if he stays fit, sky's the limit. Hall of Fame, and I don't say that because he's the Colts quarterback. I mean, anyone who plays for the Colts is Hall of Fame, of course, yeah. From Sam Erlinger to Jack Doyle. But and this is like I was saying, we ask a lot of quarterbacks nowadays. It's not just to be read through your progressions, pass the ball off, don't get hit, be smart. Now all of a sudden it's read through your progressions. If nothing's there, extend the play, roll out the pocket, extend the play. Nothing's there, take off, make a play and miss. Don't take the hit. And you're asking a quarterback of, he's 22, Anthony Richardson, I believe. It might be 23, 22, 23. So you're asking a 22, 23-year-old to break down an NFL defense anyways how in the matter of 8 seconds without taking a hit. It's easy to see how someone can get hurt, and it was just a freak accident last year. But we saw with Shane Steichen and with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor what this defense can do. What this offense can do, and it has potential conservatively to be top 10, aggressively to be top 5. And I think a lot of people sleep on Michael Pittman. They don't realise the work that guy puts into the running game. He's a monster of a blocker. And he's also a great catcher of the ball. The catch against the Ravens in overtime. Was it overtime or just before maybe it was a drive to take it to overtime. The contested catch, the monster game, it might have been last year or the year before, the monster game he had in San Francisco in the Bay, in the storm. I remember that. Wasn't an electrifying game, but he played well. And also, Alec Pierce needs a quarterback. I've seen so much slander of Alec Pierce, and I just don't get it. This guy can run deep routes better than the best. He seriously can. Go back and watch his tape. It was the Los Angeles games against the Rams, the one we lost in the end. But there was a wide open touchdown that Pierce had run a fantastic stop and go route and left the safety for dead. And Anthony Richardson just didn't see it. If he does see it, it's a touchdown. It's as simple as that. But I'm not digging on Richardson. He will come to learn better with that as a rookie, as a Noah. Would it be? Was it sophomore QB or junior, something like that? I don't know how the American school system works. But he's essentially only played like 3 games worth of football, so he's still a rookie. But yeah, it's about time Alec Pierce had someone who can find him, and I think that can be Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson pre-season, obviously ups and his downs, but I don't see anything to worry about there. Pre-season, like I say, it's just fun and games, isn't it? It's getting into match fitness, shaking off the rust, and enjoying yourselves. So yeah, that's the offense. we give Jonathan Taylor a big contract. He needs to now prove he's worth that big contract. Shane Steichen, I like his creativity. I hope he can keep being, inventive and creative with his playbook, keep being one step ahead of the defensive coordinators, keep mixing it up. We've come a long way from the Frank Reich run on first down, play action on second down, screen on third down, Jacoby Brissett 4th-and-1 package on, fourth down, like I say. So we've come a long way from that, and I like to think we're on the up escalator as a football team, and that's all I want to see this year, is keep going on that up escalator. I'm not mad if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, because I think we're still a few key parts away. But it does feel like the window for a Super Bowl has just got a bit tighter, especially with how competitive the AFC seems to be nowadays. So keep going on the up escalator, and a deep playoff run. Obviously, a loss at all would be heartbreaking, especially in the playoffs. But a deep playoff run, I'd be over the moon with. And yeah, to touch on, just before I wrap this up, to touch on other news, Granson came out and said he's going to wear the Guardian cap all year. He doesn't basically turn around and said he doesn't give an F about the way it looks or how it appears. He's taking his protection of his brain very seriously, which fair play to him. And yeah, I mean, I'm all for player safety. As stupid as the Guardian caps look, player safety, it does make sense. Why not? If you're in that position where you're a tight end, you're going to be taking big hits downfield at car crash speeds. Absolutely wear it. And I'll back into the hills on that. And I think anyone who thinks he shouldn't wear it or it's showing a weakness just doesn't understand the game of football. To touch on the special teams side of things, obviously Matt Gay was off in pre-season, but now we know why he was carrying an injury, which we don't need another injured kicker. We saw with at the end of Finney's career an injury we saw with Rodrigo Blankenship, and even to an extent Rigoberto Sanchez, how much an injury can affect a kicker, a punter. And it's not good. And I hope Matt Gay can get over this groin injury, because he was an absolutely exceptional kicker last year. And I was just growing to really like him. So I hope that's nothing too serious and he's all fine for week 1. So like I say, that's the end of tonight's show, because it was just a little warm-up, really. Hopefully we've got a show with the Texans UK on Thursday evening to have a look at this game in more depth. And from there, we'll be on Twitter, Threads, YouTube, everywhere, you name it, we'll be there. I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in, and I'll see you all later.